Go. All right, I'm going to be using David folder as example. So David does not have Google Collaboratory. So what he need to do is, number one is that if you have using it before, just go to your folder, click on here, go to new, more, you will see Google Collaboratory. The reason why we're using Google Collaboratory for now, we'll be using other part of this things like PyCharm, we'll be coming with different things. But Google Collaboratory is the way we can share our code. If you have issue, I can correct it with you at that time and rest of them. So we'll be using Google Collaboratory until we graduate to another things like PyCharm and rest of them. So but if you're okay using another editor which I can share code with you, I can see your code like Jupyter Notebook, there's no problem about that. So but we'll be using Google Collaborate. Like I said, I'm in the folder. I go to click on plus sign, click on more, and then go down to Google Collaboratory. Once I click on it, it will say create Google Collaboratory. I will say yes. Now but if you have not had Google Collaboratory before, for you to have that option, just go to add a new tab like this. If you add a new tab like this, just go to new tab and Google Collaboratory like this. If you search Google Collaboratory on your search this thing, and then once you have that Google Collaborate, click on it, it will automatically make you create that. But if you don't have that, it won't have that as an option for you. So that's what I say. So anytime if you check there, right click on that folder and go to more, and if you're not seeing Google Collaboratory, just do what I ask you to do. Just go here, Google Collaboratory, and it will bring it for you. So when you go Google Collaboratory, it will bring it, and once it bring it, click on it once. If you go back, it will be added to you. So Google Collaboratory, or Google Colab like this. Now once you click on it, click on enter, and it will going to bring these things for you. Come here, welcome to Google Collaboratory. Once you click on this, it will open. That will makes it possible for you to have it down here like we have David on. So the good thing of it is that, one, you need network to work. That's the first thing. Your network need to work for it to work, and then automatically, even if your system off, it will save. Like you see here, this is what I create for David. It is here already. So what I want you to do is go here, you write your name, like I'm going to write David on it, and automatically it comes in here. You're going to have surface like this. Now in Surface, the good aspect of Google Collaboratory is it have been integrated with AI, meaning that if you make a mistake, you can interact with the Surface, and the AI will speak the English and it make corrections for you. Now this is how it looks. Then it will be saved in this folder as you see it here. It will later rename to David, and then it comes up here. Now I'm not going to be talking much about this now. What I want you to focus is, number one is the coding part, number two is where you have connect. This is connect, test, and connect. That is connect, code, and test is what I want you to look at for today, because this is our first time we'll be talking about this. Now already I've given us a little explanation on what you can do with code, so we'll be talking about, I don't have to tell us what and what you need to do with code for now. So we'll be talking about what we need to start working on, not what we can do with this code, because I have given us examples of what code can be used for. So for this thing, we are going to be using this Google Collaborate, and then the first thing I'm going to teach you is that we are going to use Python, and then Python is an interpreter, not a compiler. That's why I say we'll be having something that we don't like from today, but understand what I'm saying. What you need to do for me is, anytime we finish up here, take your time and do your little research. Now on a normal, I'm going to be using David to talk about it. Now the reason why it is interpreter is because it interprets what you have. Whatever you do, it interprets it. It doesn't compile. So example, I'm going to start in a hard way, but I just want you to understand me. Why I call it in a hard way is that we are going to start with something you don't really like. But the thing is, example of interpreter is that when you press A, this is the code space. Now when you want to start working, you need to click on connect. It will go up like this, like as it is doing, until it shows connected. It will be running on the virtual machine. It is not connected. It will be running on cloud. As you can see here, it is connecting to the back end Google engine, Google computer back end. Once it is connected, you will see your virtual RAM here displaying. You can see my own virtual RAM. My virtual RAM is about 12 gig, and then the disk is about 107 gig. So it will be running virtually. Now this is your code. For example, if you click on tests here, if you hover your mouse over here, you will see code and test. Now if you click on test, you double click there. I can say here by putting first day of code. Now this is a comment, assuming you want to make something like a note. You can see the way I put it up. I type first day of code, for example, and that automatically give me this part of first day of code. It is not a code, it is a comment. It is not a comment, sorry, it is a test. I'm going to talk about comment. So now we have up here, this is the code. This is where you run the code. This is where you delete the code. Just hover your mouse and work on it. Now this is where you comment. Now for example, the comment part is that there is something you are not understanding here and you want to talk about it. You can say, how do I do this? How do I do this? Now what you need to do is press shift and enter, and you press at like this, and you now call anybody's email. Like I'm going to call my email. I'm going to call Collins. Now you see up, it comes up here with his email. Once I click on comment, he is going to get a notification on his email that there is something I am talking to him about this. So this is how you can call my attention in case you have issues you are not able to solve. So this is where you can comment. Now if you want to get the link to this, you can click on this and copy it. So just go through this. If your own is white, you can change it to black. I don't like white, I like black. So you go here and change the color to black. Now this is variable. We'll be talking about one or two things, but the first thing we need to talk about in programming, they first teach us to how to print something out. So in Python, what you do, I'm teaching you Python and I'm going to tell you things about Python. So what you do is that you type print and go ahead. For example, like I said, the code I put here is about 1500 lines. As you can see, it is interactive. Each of these things have whatever they stand for. As you see these things, it is in this. I didn't install anything. I did it on cloud, and I can interact with each of these things you are seeing here, touching on it, changing it to whatever I need to do. So for now, because we don't have much knowledge on programming, I don't want us to start doing installation that we have issue with. So I want us to use on cloud platform. So when we'll be creating something like an interface, trying to do graphic user interface, we will install it. Then by that time, if you have a problem, you should be able to solve it yourself alone. You get what I'm saying? So you don't need to install anything. All I want you to do is go to the folder which your name is, and then do the same thing I do here. Right click on it. See, this is David. Go to new, go to more, and then you will see Google Collaborative. Click on it. It will bring you the something that looks like this, and you will start coding here. When you want to use something, like if you want to, when we'll be using Panda, Jupyter Notebook, that's in Panda, we'll be using NumPy and rest of them. All you just need to do is you install the modules. I'm going to talk about the modules as we go on. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Now, what you need to do is that in Python, print is to outprint something. And when you finish, this thing have to be like this. Look here, it have to be marked good and it is okay. Now each of them, when it run each cell, this is what we call cell. If you want to add another cell, you hover your mouse to the center here, you will see code here. You click on the plus sign, it will add another cell for you. But now print is an interpreter. So once you click on it, it will run. As you can see it now, there is no output, so that's why it didn't bring anything out. But if you run like as it is going to have an error because the function is a print, but there is nothing here, so you are going to have this type of a thing. Now, the first thing they used to teach us, or the first thing they used to talk about, is typing hello world, which is what I'm going to do here. So if you type, for example, you type hello world here, it is going to come out. For example, if you are pressing your phone, when you do something, you have an output. This is how it happened. So the first code I put up there is to print hello world, so it gives me hello world automatically because this is what I put here. So whatever I put inside this bracket as it is going to echo it outside for me, because this is a built-in function called print that anytime you call it, it is going to print for you what is in the parentheses or what is in the bracket and the rest of them, in as much as it meet up with the requirement or the rules of Python. So it is going to bring it out. Example, if I remove this and it is like this, it doesn't meet up with the rules of Python. So this is the problem. There is a syntax error. Why I said this is because there are rules we are going to talk about. So I am going to be a little bit fast, and then you are going to ask me questions, but I'm going to send you the rules, and I'm also going to give you something you're going to read. So it is not interesting, but I'm teaching you programming today because even your phone you are pressing is the functions of this thing you're seeing today, like we are trying to type in here. So if you say print hello world, like I said, the way it works is to print hello world or to print your name. What you need to do is you press shift and double parentheses and you type your name, like I am typing my name as you see it here. Now if I run this, it is going to print Kingsley Chika Chuku. Everything I put here, computer is garbage in, garbage out. What you give it, it gives it back. Whatever I ask it to do, it does it like that, because programming is a set of code you are going to put up and it is going to give you what you put inside. So if I put again the second one and I say print Nulu, as you see here, if I run the second line, it is going to show Kingsley and Nulu. Now if I didn't meet up the code rules and then put these things like this, automatically you can see it showing me line, it's going to throw an error because it doesn't meet up the distance. The print Kingsley have on lateral error, which is in line 1, so it shows you where the line 1 is. Now I am telling you the good thing about Google Collaboratory is that it has been integrated with AI, artificial intelligence, and now artificial intelligence is the functions of this code you are seeing now, so which I am going to teach us in the nearest future if for those who continue. So if you see this now, because of the AI, I can fix this error. As you can see here, this is the issue and it is trying to correct it for me. If I click OK, it will make the correction for me, and then I'll run it now. I won't have such issue. So but the whole thing is that you need to understand the basics. Secondly, to print, you either use single quote or double quote. Now this is for double quote. Single quote, the first line and second line is single quote. Let me increase my screen a bit, make it a bit bigger. Now the first line of code, the first one is single quote, the second one is double quote. That is double quote and double quote, sorry. Why this one is I'm going to use single quote. Now if you see this is single quote and I run it, it's going to print correct because the rule says that either it is a single quote or it is a double quote. It doesn't have to be single quote and double quote here, or double quote here and single quote here. If it starts with single quote, it have to end with single quote, and if it starts with double quote, it have to end with double quote. Now if you do it like this and put it like this and write it like this, it's not going to, like this, it's not going to work because it is missing a parenthesis, and this is what we call syntax error. I'm going to treat to us about syntax error. Then the missing transcript is print. Did you mean to print this? This is giving you a suggestion. So all you need to do is make sure that when you are having this type of a thing, it have to be in brackets. So as it is, I am going to take off this, take off the first, second parenthesis and run it, and it is going to print this for me. So this is the first thing you just need to know, how you are going to input a particular thing and it bring you out whatever you input. It now return it back to you. So this is just the first place we are going to start. You say print a hello world, it comes up like that. Print your name, it comes up like that. These are what we should be doing. So I will be doing quiz on this. The other one will be doing assignment, but we'll be doing quiz on this because I'm going to set a particular question somehow and you answer it for you to know whether you understanding what we are saying or you're not understanding. But this is what we'll be doing from now henceforth. So this is the set of lines of code, and I've actually done it, and it follows a particular rules. So like we say, Python can be used for different things, and like I give example that we have talked about those things in the beginning, so we are going straight to it. So another thing is that inside here, whatever that is in the beginning of the bracket, you can put anything you want here. You can put this sign, you can put anything you want in between, in as much as it's in between this parenthesis and double quote or single quote, it is not going to throw an error. So whatever you put in there comes in that way. So print brings out whatever that is inside here. Even if you like copy a note, put it in between, it is going to print it out for you. So this is the first thing you need to know, how to call a particular distance and it bring it out. Like I said, we are not using, if we are using other distance, we need to do a lot of installation, but we are not doing installation. We just want to start like this. By the time we are okay with all these things, we are going to continue. So this is what we called, this is the first part we are going to talk about. Now this is syntax. So we are going to be talking about strings. So we print strings. Each of these things are strings, and I'm going to be giving a little definitions about it. So these are what we will be doing from now henceforth. Now another thing we need to talk about here is what we call indentation error. That is indentation, and we're going to treat indentation error from here. So this is print out. Do we have any question here? This is how you print something from Python to output something from Python. Do you have any question here? I think there is no question, so we are going to proceed. So the next thing we should be talking about now is what we are going to talk about Python indentation. That is indentation. So this is shows you the space. It is simply the space before any code. So the space that is called Python indentation, and Python indentation is simply refers to the space at the beginning of the code. And one of the practical example I am just going to say, or I'm going just to use, is if we say let's say if let's say, let me start now. We are going to be using a lot of complicating thing, but let's just start with a little ones we know. Now I am going to say that indentation, like I said, is this. If you have something like this, let's say that 5 is equal to 2. This is equal to, but in comparison you use double. This is you are trying to compare something. Then if this is true, you are going to now have a semicolon closing it up. This is the space between the code. This is what we call indentation. So you can say print let's say print this is true. Now remember the first thing I told you, I am going to also to put it in brackets. This is the way it's going to work. So if I run this code now, this is not going to give me anything, because I said print this is true. I'm trying to compare two things. Then but if I said this thing is greater than or less than equal to this, then it is also not going to show me anything. But what I want you to achieve here is, I want you to understand what it means by indentation. It is a code. If you remove this indentation and run this code now, it is going to throw an error, which is what it called indentation error. So it expected a block if statement, which is in the line 1, is supposed to have a block in front of it, and that is what is going to work down there. So if that is this, print this. If that is this, print this. So we are just trying to output one or two things. So that is what we are going to do. This is the indentation. I just need to touch on it. We are going to use it extensively in as we proceed on, but this is what we call indentation. Like I said, indentation is just the space before in front of the code, like a space you have in a given in the beginning of a line of code. It is called indentation. So depending on it, we are going to build something more bigger than this. But now the next thing I'm going to talk about is what we call Python variable, and this is where we are going to start fully. Python variable.
Sorry,
Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, this indentation, do you put it yourself, or if you put if and put enter, it will just put the indentation by itself, or
Okay.
do I have to put it manually?
Okay, you don't need to put it manually. When we start with the rules, there are a set of rules we are going to be defending. We are going to be talking about. You will understand that. Now, automatically, because I put this semicolon, look at this. There is no this double dot. That is the semicolon here. Now, if I leave it like this, it will start at the beginning. But you see now, I'm going to put this, and if I press enter, it will know that it's supposed to have indentation. So when we'll be talking about some rules, you will understand that it comes in automatically because of this. If I remove this and then go back to that place again and put 2 and remove this and press enter, it's not going to come. But once it notices this, it automatically put the indentation. And if I put this here, it comes. Do you see what happened? Because this is a built-in function. So we are going to be talking about it very soon. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to talk about now quickly is what we call variable. A variable is created to assign a value to it. You create variable, you assign a value to it. Example, a variable x, I'm going to assign 60 to it, and a variable y, I am going to assign 40 to it, 50 to it. Now, this is where we are going to start with our basics mathematics. If you see this, automatically, if I run this code, this is true. We'll be talking about strings, and we'll be talking about floats, we'll be talking about many things. But I just want you to get what is variable. Variable, you assign value to it. What did I do? I assigned 60 to x and I assigned 50 to y. So if I say x plus y, for example, like this, and you run this code, what is it going to do? It's going to be 110, because I assigned 50 to y and assigned 60 to x. If I say x plus y, it is going to give you 110. Now let me give us a little example by using an input. Now Nulu wants to do a mathematics that she don't want to keep on repeating again. I am going to use this to define 4 different this thing that we used to do, that is multiplication, addition and subtraction. I think this is addition. Multiplication is supposed to be x dot y. Now Nulu wants to have mathematics, and every day the younger sister come to ask her 20 plus 20, and she don't want to stress herself again. This is what Nulu can do. Anytime she run this code, is going to solve this rest of the problem. I'm going to come to this, why it shows us 3000, because it overwrites this. So on this, remember the first thing I showed us, where we have, I'm going to put print, I'm going to put the way, which is what we have here, and if you run this, it's going to print out the output. Now I'm also going to do the same thing here, so I will now do the beginning, print, and end, close bracket, go in here, Remember, somebody will ask me a question. Why didn't I put parentheses? Why didn't I put the semicolon, that is double quote, sorry? Why am I not putting double quote? But I told us in the beginning that there should be double quote. I'm going to explain. Now, if you see this now, every day your sister come to disturb you, you can do this simple mathematics and it stays here. You see the way it is. This is the formula. This is the formula which you know. Print, you have already defined this. If you say x plus y is 110, if you say 60 minus, which is the second one, 60 minus y, which is 60 minus 50, is 10. If you say 60 divided by 50, it's 1.2, and if you say 60 multiplied by 50, is 3000. Now, somebody come in quickly and tell you, oh, what is 20 times 30? You just need to change this thing to 30, and then change this thing to 20, and run the same thing. You have the rest of the output, as you can see here. So automatically,
Please, I have a question.
okay,
The thing is that when you first started with this variable that you assigned value,
okay,
initially when you said x plus y, you did not put print, but it still gave us answer. Why?
the reason is the print, it is a built-in function. Do you get? This is a built-in function that prints. So if you call it like that, it is going to come out because it is mathematics inbuilt. So 50 plus this is going to come out. But see what happened. You remember that when I didn't put print, it override what is remaining. The only thing that comes out is the multiplication sign. Do you understand? You get that? Like the first time I run it, I didn't put this print. Like this is what I mean. I'm going to
Yes, yes.
yeah, so okay, thank God you understand what I'm saying. So it didn't come out like this. So the print, this is a mathematic functions which is x plus y. It comes out and give you the answer. But now I need to get the output of each of them. That is why I run it. So you have to have a print to be able to give
Wait,
you for each of them. Yeah,
sorry.
go
Let
ahead.
me be sure I understand what you said.
Okay.
For these ones, you put x plus all of them. If you remove all the prints and run it, what will come out?
You will
Do not run.
only have the last one because it
Only the last
yeah,
one.
because it overrides. This is what will happen. See, let me give you an example. A is equal to, let me give you a particular, I want to assign nulu to A, you see, and then I want to assign B to Collins. Now look at this. Sorry, I'm going to print A. Now look at, I want to assign A and B to Collins, and like as you can see here, I'm going to put B. Now if I run this code, you will see Nulu and Collins. But look at this. I want to assign A to Collins and also assign A to Nulu and run the same code. Now let's see what will happen. It brings Collins. Why? Because this first one overrides the second one. The second one here overrides the first line. So I assign Nulu, A to Nulu, and also come under it and say A to Collins. Automatically, this first statement stands to be true. Did you get what I'm saying now?
Okay. Yes,
So that
but
is
please,
what.
can you just what if it's A and B? With it, let it have A and B,
Which
but
one?
clean the prints. Like
Yeah,
write A
A
equal to Nulu, B
and
equal
B.
to Collins,
Yeah,
and
so it is going to completely print Collins.
oh, okay,
Takes in all this. Did you get what happened?
okay.
Yes.
Yes, I've
So
gotten it.
so that is the same thing. So we'll be talking about that. And remember, here I didn't put double quote, but I put double quote here. I didn't put double quote here. I put here. I'm going to explain that soon as we go on. So this is how I am talking about assigning variable into this thing. Now let me give us another example again. Now you look at this. This is how you can do simple mathematics and it is done. Now I want to put A. I want to change this thing to B and write this thing 20. Then and I run this. It is going to be 20 because this last one. So I'm going to do print. and I'm going to print A, and I'm also going to print B. We are going gradually to where we know no. But this is, you have Nulu and 20. Now what if I say A comma B? In assigning this, I'm going to have this type of result, which is Nulu 20. A comma B. We assign A to, so if you change this and put B first and put print B, it is going to be 2020. If you change this last one and put A, it is going to be Nulu, that is 20 Nulu. So I have assigned a variable. Like I said, a variable, it's simply, in variable, it is simple definition, which I've said. You use variable, you assign value to variable. That is creating, assigning a value to a particular thing, whatever it must not be A. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, please. Uh, in assigning variables,
Okay.
can it be done in one line of code? Will it affect anything?
One line of
Like,
code, like I want to assign A and A into the same line, right?
like
Like this.
in one line, you say A equals to 20, B equals to 40. Then
Okay.
the next line, you now write print A, comma B.
Okay, you say I
Also
should
have
say A equals to what? 40.
20
B equal to
equals
what?
to 20.
20. Then like
Then
this.
the next line of code,
Uh-huh.
print
No.
A, comma B.
No, it is not going to work.
Okay.
Yes, because these are rules. We are going to talk about the rules, but this is not going to work. Then if you say comma here, this is not going to work. Okay, because it's syntax
Okay.
error. What can work here?
What if you put column?
Hmm?
What if you put column?
No, it
What
is,
if you put column between both of them?
it is not going to work. Now this is what is going to work. I am going to talk
Hmm?
about this and you will understand it. Now I have the same thing here is equal to here. I can still do it something like this. Now look at what is going to work. Yes, the relationship comma solve the same problem. Equal to, if I put another thing here, like say comma and put 60, I'm going to have an error because what is in the right hand side is not equal to what is in the left hand side. You have value error. We're going to talk about this error one by one. So what can give me result now is to add another value here to be what is right to be equal to the what is left, and it will not have error again. Is that okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, please. It seems when you're using letters, you have to use the quotes. Like, I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
that thing you wrote.
Yes, when you are using, yeah, we'll be talking about it soon, but the whole thing is, I'm just trying to tell you what is variable. The thing is that we have what we call strings, the types of number. We have strings, we have floats, and we have, so we have strings, we have floats, and we have number, that is integer. These are three majorly these things we have, but we are going to talk about more of them. Now let me give you example. Since we are asking question, a is equal to 6 is integer, b is equal to 7.6 is float, yc is equal to null. Is, this is string, this is float, this is integer. Now let me give you example of how it works. I'm going to say, sorry, I am jumping here, but I'm going to do something like a built-in function called type A, and I run this. It is going to show you integer, that's the type. Then I'm going to say type B, it is going to show you float. We'll be talking about it soon. I'm going to show you type B, it is float, and I'm going to show you type C, it is going to show you string, uh, uh, str. Now in this type of data, because it is strings, you have to put it in double bracket because that's the only way to understand what it is. Did you get? So these are different types of data which we are going to talk about more. So anytime you are talking about strings, you are going to put it in double quote or single quote. Like you can put it like this and put this one also a single quote. But in the same way, you can make an integer a string. Example, once I put double quote on 6, it automatically become a string. So if I run the first one, which is this one you are seeing up here, it will show me that it is a strings because I put it in double quote. A is equal to strings because it is in double quote. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how you can assign. This is Python variable. This is variable in general. Variable. This is variable, and this is how you can assign something to it. We'll be going to more of it. Why I say we'll be going to more of it is that it is not supposed to. It is not only going to be a single number. It's not going to be a single number. It is going to be more than that. Example of what I'm saying that is not going to be a single number is I'm just feeling lazy of going to type something, but let me just copy something I see here and then return back here to show you what I'm saying. Now when you're talking, it is not just going to be two words like Nulu. You can paste something as long as this and you run it. It is still as long as you want it to be, it is going to be. So even if you print it out, it is still going to show you whatever you type in there. So it is not limited to just A, B, and C. As many things you can paste or you want to work on, put it as a variable. You can assign it to. You can assign the whole page as a variable. You can assign whatever you want, like entirely as a variable. Assign a number to it, and it works. Now, I will be explaining more. This is our first day. I just want to touch one or two things. I'll be explaining more on the rules of creating variable. Example, you can't start variable A with 2. If you run this, it's going to be an issue, but you don't do that. This won't work. You don't run a variable like putting nulu okay. This is wrong. It's going to fail because it won't work. There are rules to variable. For it to be a variable, either you put underscore and run it, and this is when it is going to work. So we will be talking about more of this, but just know that this is our introduction that I just wanted to get on to understand this. Now the next thing we are going to talk about now is comment. Now I'm going to use this code to talk about comment. Now in comment, you comment for a purpose. Either you comment for a purpose in the code, either for documentation, and it is always starting with hash in Python. For documentation, that is how we are going to comment. For example, you can, this same thing I write, Nulu can write it different way. Now commenting help you understand code. It helps you understand what is contained in the code. Example, you see here, somebody who don't know this might not understand what I'm trying to say here. So what I'm going to do is that I can put a comment here. Either the comment starts from the beginning to the comment can be anywhere. Anywhere in the sense that I can say here, I can say and comment something like this, and I say assign whatever I type after this hash is not going to be an issue. Is a comment. But if I remove this, I'm going to have an error because this doesn't mean anything. It's invalid syntax. So I can comment it and I will run it. Now, if I don't want Y to display, I will comment Y. There are different purposes you can make a comment. Do you see now? If I don't want Y to display, I will comment Y. Now, once you comment a code, it will stop functioning. You isolate that particular code. Now a comment can also be used to explain what you are doing there. You get, for example, this is print x plus y. You can say addition, so everybody who comes here knows this is an addition. Now this is what I'm trying to say. If you look at the code I am going to show you now, if you look at this, if you look at the code I have now, and you have not known anything about Python, and I send this code to you, you are going to get lost, because this code is just numbers that doesn't have any meaning. You see here, I just say define. Whatever that I hit is on my own. I'm trying to use Copernicus image data and I didn't comment anything. So because I'm the one using it for myself, you will not understand what it means. But if you look at the code again, you can see here, if you look at the code down here, you will realize I commented. You will know what I'm trying to do. Here, I am trying to do arithmetic correction. Here, I am trying to do page formation. Here, step 2, I'm trying to do pre-processing. Step 9, I'm trying to do analysis. You see that here, I'm trying to load the data. You will be able to know what I'm trying to do here. So, it should cultivate a culture of writing comment, but that will help you explain what you are doing in any lines of code. So that is the same thing I am going to be doing here. So every time you see comment, it is either used to stop a code from running, or it is actually used to explain something in a code or whatever it's going to do. This is what you are going to have down there. So you need to understand what it means to be commenting. Now in the comment, this is addition. So anybody who knows here knows I'm talking about addition. And if I do this thing, this is subtraction. So anybody that sees this is going to be subtraction. You can see up here. Now this is division. I can put the comment there and say division. And then this is a multiplication. I put a comment and put multiplication. So if you do this, if you run the code, it is not going to have an error. Or you can put it after the code. You can say multiplication, like I put here, multiplication. So as you put it up here, any place it is, it works perfectly. The most thing is that you are trying to use it either to stop a code from running or to explain what you do on that particular code. It can be line, it can be anything. So this is what you can do. This is what we call commenting. So you comment the code to either stop it from running, or you have another purpose where you choose not to make the code work. So this is what we call commenting in Python. So you use that to comment. The comment can be in front, the comment can be after the code, the comment can be on the code. So whichever way you make it, it is okay for you. So anyhow you write your comment, the most important thing is that you can use this to make the comment. Now second part, another way to make a comment is that you use triple quote. Anytime you use triple quote, everything under it becomes a comment. So you close it with a triple quote. Once it goes to triple quote, you see the way the color change, it automatically becomes a comment. If I run this code, whatever that is under here is not going to run. Now you see what happened here? It stops completely because of this triple quote that you see here. This is now I commented the code and it's not going to run. Now the reason you see up here, I didn't put down here. So once I put the double quote or single quote, 3 of them, that is going to take care of it. It becomes a comment. So this is the 2 ways you can comment. Either using triple quote, that's quote into 3, either single or double, or using this if you want to do line by line. So this is how you can do commenting. So I want you to understand this, and I want you to follow this and understand it, because we will be going deeper into it from now henceforth. Yeah, so this is what we'll be doing. Now this returned me to a bit revision to what I was doing with some of us, which is here. So I talked about printing. You can see the output: print sterling, hello, welcome to our class. And when you run this, remember, for this to work, you need to run connect, and it is going to connect. Once it is connected, you will see that this is okay green, this is also green, and here will be marked good, and you have green. So you see here, I can run this code and I can get this output. This is correct. Here I use double quote, double quote, double quote. Anywhere I write it, this is perfect. Now, in this one, I use the same thing, which is using just the same thing I do here. I bring it down here. In indentation, like I tried to explain to us, indentation is going to work something by having a space between the code, which Nulu have asked me question here. Now, what does this mean? I am trying to compare two later. If a is equal to 500, like a is 500, then if a is equal to 500, then print you can enter a109. S go to a107. Example of this is when you have class of a109. For those that pass through UNEC, you have a109 and you have a107, and you have a computer which you can set in front of the class and tell the person enter your level. Let me use level here. Then the person says that we have 100 to 500. This indentation and this is the functions of this code. So if the person said I am in 500, let me use this example. If you run this, the code will say you can enter a107. But if I change this thing to 300, that is still come, which level are you? Say I'm in 300, then you run the code, it will tell you go to a109. So this is what we'll be diving in. Example of this thing is that if your password, ATM password, is 300 and somebody want to go and collect your money and use 200, it will not allow grant the person access. So, but if you enter the right code, which is what we are going to be dealing with more, it is going to grant you access. So we'll be talking more about this, and this is a perfect example of what I just explained now. This is a code which we do as an assignment, which is going to collect your ATM pin and print you whether you are right or wrong. For example, your ATM pin is 965 and you put it in. This is using indentation. Remember, it's just an explanation for indentation. We'll go deep into it. If you run this code, it will ask you a question. Enter your code, which is your ATM pin. It is showing me now. And I enter the ATM pin as 3721 and press enter. It will tell you try again with the right input, because that is not the right code. But if I run again and put the right number, which is 9651, and press enter, you see automatically you can proceed. Example, if you lock your phone and give it to another person, if the person entered the wrong password, it will not allow access. But once you enter the right password, it will give you the access. So this is the perfect example of what it is. Example, if my code is 1234 and I now give you my phone and you enter the code, you think it is 5678, it will not give you access. But when you enter the code and it is 1234 and press enter, it will be able to give you the access. You can see here, you can proceed with your transaction. This is a perfect example of where we are talking about using indentation here. Ignore the code for now. Now, this is also the same thing where you have your office. Let me say you want to enter your class, like I said, 500. This is example to 109. You can see that I put this code to be 500. So if I enter 200, for example, and press enter, it will tell me you may contact the administrator. But if I enter the right code to enter, which is 500, and press enter, it will tell me welcome, please proceed to your office. So this is a perfect way of writing this type of code that which is what we are talking about, indentation. Without indentation, this thing is not going to work. The same thing comes in here. We will be dealing with this type of thing more and more. This is indentation also, which this is what is used to check number that is divisible by 2. So once you run this code and then you want to know whether is this number divisible by 2, the number here, you will be able to know. This is example of indentation error, which we are going to talk about. And now this is double quote, like I talk about. This is single quote. All of them work perfectly. And this is the perfect example of what I just give you now by adding and minusing and divide. So this will give you that part. So we are going to stop a bit here, and I want you to ask me questions. wherever you want to ask me a question. Don't mind this. This is not part of the things we are talking about. This is a bigger and then a larger code. So we will be talking about these things more. If you look at comment, you see comment here. I use this to explain the code. This is the code. You add two numbers, it gives you this. I'm trying to do commenting, and this is commenting on the head. Now this is variable, like we talk about. These are variable. Now the variable will give example. I can use this variable by assigning University of Nigeria Enugu campus as A, B as Kingsley, C as Sterling, E as Oviape, F as Jessica, and I can say input your name. Now what is he going to do? Is going to say give you this. So if you input your name, it will be able to give you the rest of this. So example, if I run the code and then it is going to ask me what is your name, and I will say my name is Kingsley, for example, and enter, and it's going to put my name. Kingsley study geoinformatics and surveying at University of Nigeria Enugu campus. So if you run again and then ask for your name and you say your name is Daniel, so it's also going to run this and then give you that Daniel study geoinformatics and surveying at University of Nigeria Enugu campus. We'll be dealing with this more if you don't understand any of this, but with this you can create a particular, assign values to it, and then say print G study this. You see, now we are making it more complex. We'll be going to more complex thing, and you will use this to do a lot of things, like many things. We'll be working on this more, and by the time we grow up, we'll be growing up to something bigger, and then we'll be able to do more things and complex things. But this is what we'll be looking at, and then we'll be talking about function. We define function, we go in them, and this is where you'll be seeing those things that you go to your portal and then able to see something, and it brings you out something, bring you image. All these things happen by just typing one or two code. So I think I have talked too much. This is the time I want you to ask me much. Yeah, so I want you to ask me much, and then we will resolve that. So we'll be talking about more things next time, like we'll be diving deeper into the rest of the code. All right, the floor is for you. Change this thing like this. Input integer, because we are going to be using integer, and we say let me use something like this and say enter the first number. Now I am going to close this bracket. I'm going to close the second I'm going to close up the second bracket. Now this is why I'm going to copy this first thing I did here and then paste it here, and then I will change this into second number. So if anytime somebody come here, this is input. I didn't tell us about this, but since you asked, let me explain. This is how you collect in data, inputting data automatically. Let me show you. If I run this code, it's going to ask me what is the first number. What is wrong? Okay, so what it means is that I enter the first number. So if I enter 23 and press enter, it is going to record it. You see what is happening? It is asking me for the second line because I am using integer input function. Like now I'm going to enter 80, and it automatically calculates the rest of the distance for me. You see here. Now next time I don't need to try to change number. So what I will just be doing is, what I will now ask it to give me an input. So because I know that number can change anytime, so what do I need to do? I will have to use input. So if you use input, it says what is the first number, I can say it is 50. What is the second number, I can say 0. It will do the math for me here. Did you get here? So you can also do something like this is addition. You can say something like here 4, let's say 4 addition, and then you put in this and put this. So if you run this particular code now as it is, you will see that when I put 52 and then I put 3, and then you are going to have the thing defining for you here. For addition, it is 55. You see, for addition, it is 55. I can also do the same thing for the rest of them. So this is just a way of collecting data. So I didn't talk to us about having an assignment because I feel like today is just a way of me explaining to you what and what you need to do. Is that okay?